Someone said under one of my videos that they found a website they wanted me to check because they think it's associated with a person of interest. So let's go over it. There is a lie on the internet about a Vodafone person, somebody associated with the company Vodafone. At this point, everybody's backing off their claims, saying coronavirus and 5G are related. As a whistleblower, the person claimed to be from Newbury, UK, at the business unit for Vodafone in some way during a particular set of years. A former boss, head, and at one point somebody claimed a CEO. I'm apparently the only person who actually found out who was in that position at the time, and he had a very strong accent, and he died a couple of years ago, so they can't be him. So this person in the video is just lying all over the place. Next, someone said, I found his website, or more accurately, maybe this person found an advertisement for it. It's not easy to get to, and that's because it keeps having bandwidth limits because the person running the website doesn't pay their bandwidth bill. It's a free site. And it's a website that makes a device or to hire to treat EMF and 5G radiation. That's not actually what the device does. In fact, it would cause that sort of noise. But anyway, couldn't find his name on the website. That's because it's nothing associated. Someone's just shilling the site to make money. I would like to find out who he is, genuine or fake. It's fake. I have studied 5G effects. I'm certainly no expert. I'm a scientific background type person. Something resonated with me from him, but it wouldn't be the first time I've been taken in by fake news. That's the whole point of somebody shilling. But you might not have been taken in, but let's discuss the device. But I wish I had time to research it, but I couldn't find anything. If you do, please tell me. Okay, so what I did was, since the website goes down, I found out that it's archived rather well. So just look at the archive copy. You're welcome. Next, it doesn't actually mention 5G or electromagnetic interference. It is a panacea device sold under various patent-pending trademark names. Now, I'm going to be able to legally get away with doing this video only because of something I'm going to tell you right now. The Russian Federation was added to the Eurasian Patent Organization, EPO, in 1995. This device that we're going to be discussing is under Russian patent, and I'm only discussing this device, 1817335. The application was filed in 1987 and sat there because the Russian Federation left it stuck. Or maybe they wanted it to, through 3 revisions. It was published as a patent right after the Russian Federation was added to the Eurasian Patent Organization as RU 1817335C. The C means 3 or 4 revisions later, or administrative delays later, it was granted a preliminary patent. This is the same thing as patent pending in the United States. Patent was invalidated in 2005 due to non-payment of fees, and because this is a device that is, what is the wording I want to use? It is obvious to anyone practiced in the art. What is this device that was patented? In fact, what are all of these devices? They're TENS units. The first TENS unit was patented in the United States, patented other places, but in the United States in 1974. It is a device that produces nerve stimulation. It's been around a long time. But what is this device? Well, that's the funny part. All TENS units and this device all have the same thing in common. And that's why the FDA said, since it's virtually the same as your competitors, we're letting you do it, but it's not really a medical device. So what is it? A first-year electronics engineering technician student plays with something called a function generator and plays with isolation transformers. The specific ones we used were audio isolation units, or transformers, this big, that were used in telephones and audio equipment. One of them is a 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 transformer. It's a real simple one. It's for converting 8 ohm to 4 ohm to 16 to 1 k ohm, 10 k ohm. The other one is for telephone line isolation. Let's see which one they used as the output device for these selected characteristics, because when they tried to import it in the United States, they had to put it through a testing procedure, and I can interpret this. But if you Google it, all you find are sites selling it and mentioning the patent, but not mentioning that it was invalidated in 2005. Since this is no longer under patent, and because the copyrighted and trademark names are not relevant, since it's just a function generator and a generic TENS unit with a feedback toy, so you could, have some of their dials and knobs to play with, let's discuss what this actually fucking does. Upon testing, it showed that it had selections between 340 cycles per second, 90, 60, and 14 cycles per second bursts. using pulse widths that were 1 millisecond duration or smaller. That means it would be higher than upper C, not C sharp or middle C, but high C for notes. And they don't mention the shape of the thing, but if they used a function generator, it could be sawtooth wave, triangle, sine wave, and square wave. Square wave is less electrically, demanding. Now, the reason I'm assuming very easily that this is very likely a telephone transformer, the most common form of isolation transformer that lets you legally say it won't hurt anybody, is that it has a 150 volt maximum output and an 85 milliamp max output. This is literally for pulse width modulations 1 millisecond or lower. This is absolutely in the range of being telephone transformer or digital pulse isolation transformers. The actual output is 15 volts into 500 ohms at 30 milliamps according to that listing, and 20 volts at 2 milliamps at 10 k ohm. 10 k ohm being human skin resistance dry, 500 ohm being worst case scenario where you'd have to limit the current. 30 milliamps is low enough it can't cause harm. This is not valid if you puncture the skin with pins. Do not use this for electropuncture. So anyway, 150 volt max is the actual rating for what comes out of one of those things if you run in a standard push-pulse CMOS amp, switching amp circuit. And you use a function generator if you wanted to make it really cool. We made these in college from about $4 worth of parts back then. Now it'd be maybe 10. So if you spend $300 on this, you're being cheated. Next, TENS units are designed to do very specific things to cause nerves and muscle reactions, and also to produce signals that are supposed to stop pain by imitating the pain signal, and then you shift the pulses just a little bit out of whack to counteract the ones that you're getting. That's the idea anyway. Hope I didn't waste all of your time. So let's review here. I'm not going to read the patent, but the patent is literally a written statement with no diagrams, which means someone in the Russian Federation is claiming to have a patent that's been invalidated in 2005 that was literally nothing more than a written statement done in the 1980s and only got published, quote unquote, after they joined the European or the Eurasian Patent Organization, and then it was invalidated, 10 years later because someone didn't pay their patent update thing, and it never really got processed. Anyway, the FDA doesn't endorse it, nor does the American Medical Association. But anyway, transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation, or TENS, is rather weak as far as its evidence, but it has a generic, non-falsifiable set of claims, so it doesn't have to have any specific proof necessarily. It's used, if you use it for pain relief and it works, it doesn't matter if it was a placebo effect, so that's why it's allowed. It doesn't do any harm. It's not safe and effective, but it's not effective, provable, but it's safe, as in it doesn't hurt you, and that's all. It just has to not hurt you. It's widely used and it's cheap and it happens to work well for some people. It's hit or miss. It is absolutely not used for 5G insulation or anything like that. And I can tell you that if you ask someone to build you a full audio spectrum function generator and just hook up a telephone isolation transformer out of an old telephone, you'll have almost identical performance and safety limits. That's literally why we use them. They're not supposed to be used as a safety item, but they end up working that way. And I would compare this to the e-meter, or whatever it's called, from the Church of Scientology, which I helped reverse engineer with somebody and found out that it's horse shit. But anyway, when you Google it, you find sales pages and testimonials. You do not find any medical tests. Oh, wait a minute. There's going to be a medical test this year to see if this specific item actually works. They've been trying to keep people from doing clinical testing because then someone would say it's nothing but a TENS unit. So let's review. The person in question we were discussing in the comment section has nothing to do with this. Odds are if you've seen a connection to it, it's somebody trying to sell it. Number one. Number two, the person in that video that I was discussing turns out to not possibly be the right person, and if it was the right person, he's been dead for a year. And he had a strong accent from a different language. Next, the website you linked to is a website owned by somebody who cannot get enough money together to keep a website up. My website goes down like every month because it's a free website. A lot of them are. But he's paying for a website and it's still not up. Next, all he's selling, because I didn't see 5G really even mentioned, so I'm just going to skip it. All he's selling is a device that creates pulses at specific frequencies or durations, and maybe wave shapes. You can build a deluxe model of something like this for under $50. If you want to spend a little bit of money, you can get well, you can just buy the little audio transformers, hook them up to a stereo headphone connector, and hook them up to your computer's audio output, because that's what I would do. That would be $5. Then you load up a computer routine that shows you the pulses, shows you the function generator. There's an app for it. And yeah, you can get one for a cell phone. So you can just use your own cell phone with the leads coming off and fire them. And the isolation transformer can be positioned in such a way that it's literally isolated onto you. That's what it's for. It's to prevent it from having any ground loop. Or you could just use it to, run an audio amp. You can also build an external amplifier if you believe you need so, but honestly, most of you have audio output on your headphone jacks that are comparable to this. We're talking 40 milliwatts of energy output. Yeah. We're talking virtually no output. That's the same output as your headphone connector. This one's only doing 300 cycles per second or lower. This would be pretty easy. Or you could spend $300. You can get an app for this. It's just a DIY 10s. I'll leave a link to some of the projects. But none of these would have any effect on EMF, electromagnetic fields, interference, noise, electrosmog, or 5G. And 5G is just a standard. That's like saying that a bottle's yellow, so it's bad, instead of they're all the same object or thing. It's electromagnetic signals. But anyway, and it's not radiation, it's radiated signals. That's about it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And yeah, the patent's open, but there wasn't much of a patent. It was a description of an idea. It never was patented. Really. And it's dead. On the other hand, the 1974 patent in the United States actually has diagrams and charts. But again, like I said, every college student in my day built one of these, and you can just emulate it with a headphone connector and one, maybe two of these audio isolation transformers, and maybe an amp if you want to. You decide.